Okay, so I put out on here and Facebook and Twitter and other places for you guys to ask me questions so that I could answer them for you, and you did ask questions, and now I'm going to answer them for you. Liz J on YouTube asked, what advice would you give to a beginner, and how does photography help you see the world in everyday life? My advice to a beginner would probably be to take a lot of photos, go out and do it. That's the only way you're going to get better, is by taking more and more photos. Experiment, push yourself, have fun while you're doing it, and don't be worried about making mistakes, because that's the best way to learn as far as I'm concerned. I have 365 photos to prove it. Tristan on YouTube asks, how do you get to make an expansion of a self-portrait like this? It's on the black speed edit video. And keeping the same exact position. Did someone help you? Please explain. I really want to know. BTW, beautiful series. Beautiful series. Okay, so I actually did a video showing the whole behind the scenes process of that. You can see the video here. Basically what happens is I just make sure that I'm close enough to the camera that I can reach up and move it without having to move my body, so that I'm not getting completely up and moving the camera and trying to get in the exact same position. That way I can stay there and move the camera at the same time. It's all explained a lot better in the video. Yeah. Chelsea LeBlanc asks, so obviously you use a Mac. Would you recommend Mac over PC for professional photographers for the editing, and why? Also, I've been thinking about getting an iMac for working and editing, but I still have yet to decide, so I'll ask you, would you recommend an iMac or a MacBook Pro for editing? Okay, yeah, so when I got a new computer and upgraded my equipment, I ended up switching from a really crappy 5-year-old Dell laptop that I had all my 365 on and abused. The video card will overheat and die because I abused it so much now. I went from that to a new giant iMac. I don't really have too strong affiliations either way. I just wanted something that'd be big and powerful and had a good screen, and I wanted a desktop, so I ended up going with the iMac. I looked at a couple other options, and this is what I just found worked best for what I needed it to do. As far as an iMac versus MacBook Pro, like I said, I just want something big and powerful that could handle what I was going to be doing to it. So if you plan on doing things like giant expansions and hardcore editing and doing multiple things at once on it, I'd say go with the iMac, just because it is powerful. If you're going to be traveling a lot or want to be working in multiple places, like go from school to home to on the bus and edit, then yeah, definitely go with a laptop because it's portable. The one downside, of course, is that when I'm traveling, I can't edit photos, but I put up with it and just have to wait a few weeks or a couple days to edit, and it's fine. Next question is from Oscar San Nicolas Abad, who asks, the fact that you are using that amount of photos and merge them together is to get an ultra-sized one with perfect quality, or is it another reason? So basically, why do I do expansions? The primary reason is, yes, to build up resolution so that instead of having one tiny photo like this, I can add on those photos and it gets bigger and gives you more resolution, more detail, can print it larger. The other reason is because it will give you a shallower depth of field because you're able to have your closer camera to the subject, and I really like having that nice, smooth, shallow depth of field in my photos. I apologize right now for the fact that I go in and out of focus so much, I need to stop videoing on 1.4, a lot. Anonymous on Tumblr asks, what have you been up to lately? I haven't really been up to a whole lot that exciting since getting back from New York. I've been editing some stuff from over the summer. I shot a couple new things that I haven't released yet. I've been reading quite a bit. I just finished John Green's The Fault in Our Stars, which had an emotional breakdown, cried. Yeah. Eliza Kitchington on Tumblr asks, I'm curious though, is it just me, or when you're doing a delicate expansion, do you sometimes find that your composition is slightly off because you've accidentally missed a corner of your expansion, and as a result end up with a photo merge that has a missing corner piece, and as a result have to crop tighter than you originally intended? I've done this on 2 occasions now. Yeah, that happens. That's kind of why I've gotten in the habit of taking such giant expansions, is so I'll never miss something, but then I'm always figuring that I'll crop it wider. I don't actually compose things at the time. I never know I want a square starting here and ending here, or wide crop to go all the way out here. Basically I just set up a scene and want something that looks natural and fits with the environment, and then I take it and then I crop it to something that seems natural to the environment. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But once I end up compositing everything together, I always want, there's always just one corner that I really want a little bit more on, or I wish I would have done a little bit more up top. So yeah, he ended up going with it, where sometimes I've gone back the next day and taken the photo because I could remember where I had my camera set up, or clone stamp, or content aware fill, and put things in together. So you kind of live with it. Over on Facebook, the impossibly nice Sarah Ann Lorth asks, how do you feel about the economic crisis facing the country as well as fiscal cliff situation? JK, how much do you love bunnies? I love bunnies a lot. Like, take the Can't Hug Every Cat eHarmony video, the crazy cat lady who starts crying because she loves cats. Make it about bunnies and that's me. Anonymous on Tumblr asks, where did your love of bunnies come from? Basically, I'm allergic to pretty much every other fluffy creature, so I put all my love into bunnies, and plus they're adorable and amazing and cute, and I had some when I was little, and they're just the perfect little things, and I want bunnies. Anonymous on Tumblr asks, why don't you ever take any conceptual bunny pictures? I kind of have pictures planned out for when I do have a bunny, but I don't have a bunny at the moment, which is a problem. So once I get a bunny, which I really want to do, it'll happen. Over on Twitter, Cynthia added saying Duck asks, are you ever going to host a Montana meetup? Because I would be all over that. So I thought about it, I wanted to before, and I was going to at one point, but I think if I ever did, it'd be an insanely small one just because I can't handle that many people at once and trying to organize things, and all the people who've hosted meetups that I've been to, I have mad respect for them for being able to organize that and keep people from killing themselves somehow. On Tumblr, Russia Head asks, when it comes to you being creative, what do you do to acquire inspiration? Back in my 365 days, basically what I would do is just go out and start shooting. Like, I would just set up my tripod somewhere and start shooting something if I had no idea what I wanted to do. And eventually out of that I would start doing something or realizing I liked how something looked and play off of that, and that would really get the inspiration juices flowing. Right now what I do is whenever I have an idea, I write it down. I have a list on my phone, I have a corkboard of ideas, I have a little notebook of ideas, so if I ever need something I can go there and look it up, and I have stuff that I know interests me and stuff that I've been thinking about and I can work on. So basically I just let it happen naturally, find it and make sure I remember it and get to it whenever I can. Anonymous on Tumblr asks, do you have a girlfriend? No. No. Another Anonymous on Tumblr asks, which of your favorite photographs is your personal favorite? I'm honestly so horrible at picking favorites of anything. Actually, one of my personal favorites is probably one of the ones I haven't released yet, so I can't really tell you about that. I still really absolutely love this one from like the very beginning of my 365. I also like pretty much most of the flower series, and I really love the Philomela picture, which no one seems to like for some reason, because that's kind of the direction that I'm going recently, so hopefully people start to like that, because that'd be awkward. More Anons on Tumblr. Who's your favorite photographers? As I mentioned, I'm horrible at picking favorites of anything. I'm also horrible at following like photographers who aren't Flickr photographers, so most of my favorites are people on Flickr and who I'm actually friends with now. And I made a list. I'm gonna forget like 5,000 people. I love everyone. Alex Stoddard, Marwan Palis, Christy Mitchell, Sarah Ann Lorth, Brooke Shaden. I'm really in love with David Uzo Chuk. How do you pronounce your name, David? I don't even know. Laura Zalanga, Zev and Eliza Hoover, Troy Colby, Kara Kobus, Laura Macabrescu, Senden Middleton, Rachel Putt, Dara Scully, Noel Oswald, like 5,000 other people that I can't name at the moment. What type of camera do you use? As of the beginning of this year, I've been shooting with my dream camera, the Sony Alpha 99, which is just pure amazing, and I hold it up for you, except it's recording right now, so that is my favorite camera. My dream camera. That's what I shoot with now. What editing program do you use? Adobe Photoshop CS6. Another Anon on Tumblr, just wondering if I may ask, what type of music do you listen to? I feel like this is kind of a common response to the question, but I like a lot of different types of music. Everywhere from old American folk music up to new modern stuff. I love 50s, 60s music, like the American Graffiti soundtrack is one of my favorite things ever. I like Bossa Nova, Esther Gilberto is, love her. My recent obsessions have been Sia, she is amazing. Lord, of course, who doesn't love Lord? And Anthony and the Johnsons, like, his voice. Ugh. Yeah. Canel Van Zyl on Facebook asks, what inspired you to become a conceptual portrait photographer? John Simple, Alex Stoddard. I found his work once while browsing around the internet, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. I want to do that, and then started doing it. Hopefully you enjoyed hearing all those answers about photography and life and my love for bunnies. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. If you have any more questions you'd like for me to answer in a future video, feel free to leave those down in the comments or tweet them at me or Facebook or all the social medias. The links are down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so that you get all the future videos, and I don't feel like I have to spam them on Facebook because I feel like people are getting tired of me posting more videos than I do photos, actually. And also because it makes me feel good about myself. Okay, bye. Tristan on YouTube. Whoa, something weird just happened. Obviously, you use a Mac. Why would you ever take any on?